The most exciting stadium I've ever been in is Real Madrid.
Woo!
Oh my God. Have you seen the works of that stadium and how they're able to flip everything around for not only an NFL game, for a football game and AKA soccer? They have a whole system electronically or like remotely moving around. That stadium, now that I actually truthfully sit there and think about it, I mean, we're international, boss. I'm Ndamukong Suh, and welcome to No Free Lunch, where we talk to experts and athletes about how the most successful people in sports manage their money and grow their wealth. Danny, what's going on, boss?
Man, it's another week. Excited to be here with you, man. We're coming off a couple big like staples in sports. You know, the Winter Olympics, the Super Bowl, the All-Star Weekend. And I think one of the coolest parts about all those events, especially even the Winter Olympics, is like the stadiums and how each like team and organization interacts with fans. And like, I mean, I know probably a lot of our college stadiums that we played or even you played, it's like old school bench seats. And then you hear about stadiums like the Intuit Dome where the Clippers play, where it's like technology and screens all over the place. It really changed that experience. So I wanted to talk to our guy, Chris Lyons, about some of the tech that might be engaging more with audiences in some of these arenas around the world and what we can maybe see looking forward.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to get right into it right here in No Free Lunch, boss. Chris, man, welcome to the show. As always, man, it's a pleasure to see you. I know you've been on the road. It's been hard to track my guy down, man. But I hope all is well.
Man, I've been doing good. It's so good to see you.
It's been interesting, as Danny said earlier on in the opening. It's so many great opportunities from San Francisco with the Super Bowl, LA with All-Star, and the Olympics going on. Like, how do fans and people get engaged into the sport and monetizing the fan to engage with them with media rights? All these different pieces. There was an article by BCG that was kind of explaining and breaking down pillars of what the fan identity and personality engines look like. Like, explain to our audience of what we're looking to discuss here.
Well, look, I think in terms of just fandom, there's so many new worlds that are happening, so many new experiences. I actually read an interesting tweet from Mark Cuban where he was just talking about the NBA and how important the fan experience is going to be. And I think that when we're really looking at what we're driving value towards, I think 100% that we're going to start to see a shift in terms of like not just the game itself, but how can we actually get more people involved? Because, if you can get more people involved into the actual experiences, getting them a chance to spend, it's kind of like at the airport. It's like if you can get people past security faster, then you have the opportunity to actually sell more product and get people to go sit down in the restaurant and buy more merch, which then ultimately increases sales. And I think when you're doing the same thing when it comes to the fan experience, that makes people, in order to enjoy their time going to the game, getting a chance to experience their play, the players through not only just in real life experiences, but also through digital and being able to connect on and off the field. It's going to really open up the new revenue streams and ultimately drive more money and value back to the entity itself.
Man, I think that's probably the best analogy I've ever heard in my life about taking people and getting them through TSA faster. And it's interesting. I think the first mover is the UK in London and Heathrow. They're now allowing passengers to walk through with water, and there's no cap on these different particular liquids and ounces that they can take. And I was just going through the airport the other day and was super surprised. Like, I forgot 2 or 3 bottles of water in my backpack. It was an all-nighter at Sky Sports, and they didn't say nothing. I was like, dang, I got through security. But then I see on social, oh, this is new. They've been letting us do this for the last month or so. So it's interesting enough, like, how do you do that? Because I think what it would unlock is the ability to say, oh, I don't have to worry about this anymore. I don't have to go through the headaches of trying to get it through. I'm now more open to have and spend more of my dollars on all these other things that I didn't want to pack up and bring with me because I know I can just go to the store and buy it right there in front of me before I get to the gate. So I'm curious to how you look at it and how they're that vantage point to say, what's the next evolution of the fan experience and engagement?
I think that when you're really looking at the next generation of fan engagement, I mean, there's going to be a couple different ways. I mean, one, we've already talked about in the past, you know, the augmented reality, the virtual reality perspectives. I think that you're going to have a lot more types of engagement in terms of even some of the things that we've seen on the predicted markets, and having people being able to actually kind of be engaged and guess and understand what's going on. I think ticketing is going to be something that's really dynamic. You know, we've seen companies where it's really interesting where, say, you know, you only want to come for the first half of the game, or say you have to leave early, and, you know, you see those, we've all been in that stage where we've seen those 2 empty seats at you know, courtside, like, man, how can I get that, right? And so now imagine if you're going to be able to actually upgrade your tickets by not only just like by the time you sit in the throughout the whole game, but, you know, as people come and go, having dynamic ticketing in order to have experiences like that. I think, you know, obviously we continue to see the rise of merch and other components on there. And I think that you're going to see a lot more types of products that are going to be really kind of compelling for that audience and the fans. And because ultimately at the end of the day, you know, you want to be able to create new revenue streams. The biggest one that I'm actually excited about is kind of this new wave world that, like, and I would give an example of like the new, because I'm from Atlanta, the new Brave Stadium, right? And so the new Brave Stadium is not just a stadium where people just come in to play. You have restaurants all around side. You have, you know, different types of live experiences, games, interactive activities, shopping. And so I really feel that the next generation of sports, and even as new stadiums are starting to be built, with even like the Commanders and their new stadium that's coming out, there's going to be entities that are going to all be associated around the sports and around the teams and around the engagements that are really going to help drive not only new revenue, but really create these as hubs for new economies to be built within these cities.
It's interesting you use that Brave examples of the new way of them elevating it inside and then around the arenas and the stadiums. Where do you think it moves and challenges and changes when it comes to in-home or off-site in these specialty locations? For example, at a Dave & Buster's or wherever it may be, to where now you've got your kids set up, but you also have this adult experience where they feel like they're actually sitting courtside at the game, whether it's a Rockets, LA Lakers game or whatever it may be. I didn't spend the money to spend, shoot, if you're lucky, a couple grand each for a ticket, or I'm saying I'm spending $400 or $500 and I have this immersive experience, but it's not on site.
These stadiums of the future, they're not just buildings, you know, they're connected environments, and the best new venues are going to be kind of designed as tech platforms first and physical spaces second. Like another example is like the Intuit Dome in LA is the benchmark right now. You have facial recognition for entry. You have cashless concession stands that are powered by your face. I mean, literally, it's like a 38,000 square foot Halo board that's like with in-seat charging, you know, interactive seat buttons, and even, you know, like when you kind of have like the sound meter that measures how loud each section is cheering to kind of get more people engaged. And, you know, it's crazy because even a stadium for the first time was named as Time's world's greatest places in 2025. And so, you know, I think what we're seeing is wild adoption rate. And I think that there's expected to be, I think around like 1/3 of the fans are going to start adopting and opting into these facial authentication systems. And by the end of the game, like 75% of these people are going to be enrolled. So that just tells you, even just in terms of, you know, consumer comfort and where that's going to be headed. I'd also say that the next step is just context aware experiences kind of inside the venue. So, imagine, like I said, I mentioned just getting in-seat promotions for foods that trigger at big moments in the game. I remember that one game when I think if like Jokic missed a free throw, everybody got free chicken nuggets, and he knew that was the case and ended up missing it. And because of that, he had a big smile on his face just because he was able to help make the fans have that type of experience. And so, I think it's really cool because this next wave, the stadiums know who you are. They're going to know where you are, what you like, and it's going to deliver value in literally in the moment. So, so these are all kind of just signature experiences. And I think that, obviously we talk about AI and how this is going to affect different things, but I think also, I think sensors and kind of like what I was talking to Intuit are going to kind of create these smart stadiums, just to really help manage crowd flow, optimize different staffing and kind of just create really just like frictionless experiences from the parking lot all the way to the time you get into the seat. So, but at the end of the day, I mean, the ones that the companies and the teams that are going to win, they're going to make sure, and this is what I always talk about, even like when I'm, talking about the future of crypto and all these things, you have to hide the wires and you have to make this stuff very simple and easy. And, technology should remove friction, but like you should still be able to feel the soul of that team and the soul of the stadium. And so, the best venues, I believe, are going to use tech to get fans back into their seats faster, so that they can focus on, the game and the atmosphere and just the community itself. Another thing, Sue, I'm really curious, like we were just, talking about just like immersive experiences and really trying to kind of have what we call this third space in between the home and the stadium. And a really cool company that we've been kind of tracking, and I've been able to experience one time, which was amazing, was a company called Cosm. And so it's kind of like, think about the Sphere, but for like sports. That was a super dope experience for me. And I'm curious what your thoughts were on it.
It's ringing a bell. And I think some family friends of mine out of Detroit recently invested in and are building out some different spaces. But I mean, to me, it sounds like a Dave and Buster's on steroids, where you got kids over here playing in one area, the family and friends were able to be in their suite watching the games and fully immersed in it at the end of the day. So, I mean, it sounds like it's amazing. And really what it does, it brings a broader view for people to have that same experience, but not have to be able to pay 4 or 5 times the same cost. It'd be 3 or 4 times the less of the cost. So it'd be awesome to be able to experience that.
I think it's huge too. It's like similar to the Sphere, but for sports. It's like a sports bar, part like planetarium style. It's like 80-foot. 80, I think is like 80 or 87 feet and LED dome. And it kind of, what the best part is that we always thought that, VR was going to be the way to make you feel courtside, but this is an experience where everybody gets to feel like that, without actually even being kind of part of the stadium. And so, and I think they have 2 venues. They have one in LA. I think they have one in Dallas, and Atlanta's coming soon. Shout out to Atlanta for the 2026 World Cup. So, and like you said, Detroit too, coming this year too. So, I mean, they're moving fast.
We got to bring one to Houston, boss.
Come on. Everything's bigger in Texas, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So got to compete with the star.
I think the NBA, because I saw it 2 years ago at All-Star in Utah. And I think they just signed a long-term, partnership with Cosm through 2030. So that's going to be super exciting to see once they kind of go live and go from there. So Sue, like you played in some legendary venues. I mean, first off, like, from playing in Ford Field and some of the newer buildings. Is there like a favorite stadium that you've attended or a favorite stadium that you've played in?
We were talking about Texas a little bit earlier, man. There's just something about Jerry's World. Like, I have never had a bad game in Jerry's World. And whether that was in college or pro, Like there's something about that atmosphere just says it gets my juices flowing and like I'm ready to go and run through multiple walls. And then most recently I was back at Jerry's World in AT&T Stadium. I believe that's still the name, but sitting on their concourse, and I was calling a game for Sky Sports on Thanksgiving, and they had the earlier game with obviously Detroit playing, and then then Dallas coming right after it. But to see the rush of fans race to the standing only seating, was crazy to see that and experience. And it's like a rush of like hundreds and thousands of fans, and they're boxing each other out like, no, this is my space. This is my space. Just to be in Jerry's World to see that. And I mean, it's a great atmosphere, especially obviously special on Thanksgiving. So I would say my number one would be Jerry's World. I love Detroit, love playing in that stadium. But it behooved me not to mention, Super Bowl in Tampa, winning that. Like I know you got them Tampa roots as well, boss man. So that stadium is live as well.
That's I've even seen that the ship and just that energy and kind of really, it's crazy.
And I recently just saw something with the Raymond James. It's Raymond James Stadium. I just saw they're looking to redo that
Really?
And like elevate it to a whole nother level. So, shout out to Raymond James Stadium. Make sure if you need some advice, some guidance, some construction expertise, some engineering success and guidance, your boy is here for you.
Come on. You got to bring it back. Bring it back.
For sure.
So maybe they're going across the way to Orlando and getting some advice to kind of bring it back over there.
Yeah, man. I think it's a great location first and foremost, and I think it's smart to what they recently did with the stadium across the street, the baseball stadium, having that connective loop and whatnot. So I think they could build a nice, beautiful campus for sports over there. And it'd be interesting to see if the Tampa Bay Rays move close by to make it all seamless.
Absolutely. The other stadium that's kind of doing something similar is just the Allegiant Center, Allegiant Dome in Vegas, and then now with the new Las Vegas A's, and they just started breaking ground on the Strip too. So that's going to be that's going to be crazy kind of connection point down there in Vegas.
I'm curious to see what the Commanders new arena is going to look like, or stadium is going to look like. I'm surprised, and spending a lot taking over a historic site, JFK, from that standpoint. So it'll be interesting how these things come together.
Absolutely. All I know is that it's from future Super Bowls to just better fan experiences. I think that it's good to have a nice little refresh, and at the end of the day, the fans are going to appreciate it, and we all got to get up to times too.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I think absolutely, I'm going to retrace that. I'm going to retrace my statement. The most exciting stadium I've ever been in is Real Madrid.
Woo!
In Madrid, Spain. Oh my God. Have you seen the works of that stadium and how they're able to flip everything around for not only an NFL game, for a football game and AKA soccer, and stadium, they have a whole system electronically or remotely moving around. That stadium, now that I actually truthfully sit there and think about it, we're international, boss. We get out.
We worldwide.
Real Madrid team is special.
Yeah,
and I definitely, that has to be my number one. I take it back.
I agree.
Jerry World, you can get there one day, not no more.
I'll say one more thing. The most interesting stadium, it's not even really a stadium that I just went to, was a couple weeks ago. I stopped by the TGL. And getting a chance to see the golf simulator league with Tiger, and it was just amazing just to see kind of how you hit into this giant simulator. They had a huge fan stadium around it with music playing, keeping it super interactive. But with 18 holes, they only have one green, but the green literally rotates and moves, and each putt changes based off of the hole, and it's entirely motorized. And it was just fascinating just to kind of see how they could really think through, just creating an indoor golf league and having it be interactive and fun. And that was, obviously it's not anything close to Real Madrid or Jerry's World, but and for golf, it was pretty cool.
yeah, man. You got to start somewhere with golf. It's a little boring, but it can bounce back and be creative.
It's better than watching it on the TV. I'll tell you that.
Well, Chris, man, I appreciate it, boss man. Always a pleasure. And we'll talk here soon, man.
All right, man. I'll catch you.
The information provided on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified financial and or legal professionals before making any legal or financial decisions or investments. Man, what a great conversation with my guy, Chris Lyons. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to No Free Lunch on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.